Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margo D. Hello, friend.
Oppa!
Oppa! There's more. Joining us is our podcasting brother from another mother, Adam Riske from F This Movie. Hello, friend.
Why you want to leave me?
He don't eat meat.
I'll make lamb.
I'll make lamb.
No meat.
By the way, that is my family and me, the vegan. They're like, you don't eat meat? I'll make you chicken. No, chicken is meat. It's meat. Hot dog? No, hot dog is technically meat. We are dorking out about My Big Fat Greek Wedding. This is one of Adam's favorite movies, so I'm really, really excited to talk about it with him. It's written by Nia Vardola. Did I pronounce that right? God damn it! I do. You know what? I should just start saying I'm doing that on purpose. And it also stars both your man, John Corbett. You guys love him.
Yeah. We'll get to John Corbett.
Okay.
There'll be a whole John Corbett section.
Yeah, and
there's
just a lot of awesome people in this. Lainie, Kazan, Michael Constantine, Andrea Martin, and Joey Fatone. Of course, Joey Fatone is in this. So I'm going to start with Adam because it's his favorite. Did you see this movie in the theater, and did you instantly fall in love with it? I want to hear about your love story with My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Okay, clear the deck because I need about 5 minutes.
You got it.
So
go.
Okay. All right. So summer of 2002 was when this movie it started in limited release in April, and then by about June was when people around my neck of the woods kind of got hip to it and was like, this thing keeps playing in our theater. What's that all about? And then people around my age at the time, we were in college, and that's when we all started watching it. And I remember my girlfriend at the time saw it before I did, even though I thought we were gonna go together. And she was supposed to be going to see The Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood, and I was like, you have at it. And I was going to a baseball game. And then we were gonna meet up later, after I was done with the game and she was done with the movie. And we met up, and I was like, "Oh, how is Yaya Sisterhood?" And she's like, "Oh, we ended up seeing My Big Fat Greek Wedding." And I was heartbroken. I told her,
"This is over."
Yeah. No, that was 2 years later. So then I said, "Well, you have to go with me next weekend." So we did, and this was part of the reason why I think I love the movie so much, aside from just loving the movie, is it came out during a summer where I was head over heels in love.
Aww.
And I'm just very nostalgic for that summer. So I want you to hear this line that I said I remember saying before the movie started to my girlfriend, and I want on a scale of 1 to 10 how good of a line this is.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is one of the best lines. So before the movie started, I whispered to her, "I don't want to see another movie in theaters unless you're there with me."
Aww.
That's a 10.
That's a 10.
That's
a 10.
Yeah.
A little possessive, but still a 10.
Okay, maybe an 8.
It's a little stalkery, but okay.
It is a little stalkery. Yeah, I was 20. I don't know what to do. Anyway,
I will never see another movie in the theater without you, dead or alive.
Whether you like it or not.
That knocks it down to a 3.
Maybe a 3, maybe 3.5 if we're being generous. And then I just immediately loved the movie, and I saw it probably 2 more times in theaters. So
It played for a year in the theater, which is unheard of now.
Yeah. One of the times I saw it was introducing it to my parents, and another time I saw it was on a double date where the other couple the guy was cheating on his girlfriend. So like
Oh,
and we didn't
wow.
know this. And we didn't know this. So we showed up and all of a sudden our friend Chris was like not there with his girlfriend Tina and it was with somebody else. And we were like so disgusted that we were party to this. And then
Oh.
after the movie and then during dinner, we were like, yeah, this girl's so much better than Tina.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So
And then
yeah,
you
that's
and then
my
you
history
told
with
her,
the movie.
I only want to see movies with you in the theater.
Yeah, that was my line with everybody.
And then did you buy it when it came out on video, DVD or whatever? And then just do you watch it like once a year? Do you not do you
Yeah,
revisit it often?
I did buy it on DVD. I went through a long period of time of not watching it because it had like the association with my
Sure.
ex.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I kind of reclaimed it for myself with a lot of other movies from summer of '02
That's awesome.
over the years. So now, yeah, I probably watch it maybe like once every couple of years. But every time I watch it, it's like a total comfort movie, and it just makes me feel great while I'm watching. And yeah, so it's something that I've always liked and keep liking.
Oh, Margo,
Aw, that's
did you see it in the theater?
yeah, I did. So at the time, I was friends with someone who was of Greek origin, and she always talked about being Greek. I mean, the Greeks are very Greek. That all totally rings true for me. And it's this movie and Rushmore that I know she saw multiple times in the theater, and it's something. But I only could take one time. I thought it was cute, like my big fat Greek wedding. I thought it was very, very cute, and then I completely forgot about it. And then a few years later, it's always on television, and then I went back to it. I'm like, oh, this is actually really good. It's very sweet. It's heartwarming, and it's got good performances. That friend, by the way, turned into a total trumper. We don't talk. Yeah,
Terrible. I
yeah.
hate when that happens.
Yeah. But she had a wedding and she married an Irish guy and it was on Long Island and it was like my big fat Greek wedding. Like everything was over the top. We danced, the liquor, the older relatives. I mean, all that stuff. Like my friend had that at her wedding and it was really, really fun.
I want to go to a Greek wedding so bad now.
Oh, it's so fun.
Or
The
maybe
food is great.
maybe I just miss people. But I also would like to go to a Greek wedding.
You know, I would sit through a Catholic mass right now. I'm so bored.
Yeah.
Like that's how bored I am.
that eats up like 4 hours.
Exactly. Like I would actually tolerate that.
Oh,
I would go to anybody's bar or bar mitzvah right now. I have the suit.
Oh gosh, my family's Catholic and I get an invitation to a wedding and I'm like, oh no, it's gonna have a Catholic ceremony. It's gonna be so long. It's gonna be
Oh, they take
so long.
forever. They're so boring.
Yeah, but
My poor niece.
I would totally do it now.
My poor niece was supposed to have her bar mitzvah March 29th.
Oh,
I know.
that
It
sucks.
was a bummer. Yeah. Anyway, but that's my history with the
yeah,
movie.
I also saw it in the theater and really liked it, but I don't think I've revisited it at all until last night.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Like I liked it. I really liked it in the theater. It was just not something I watched over and over, but it was so fun to rewatch it because when I saw it the first time I would have been 30, 31. And I was single, like no kids, living with my sister and I shared a house together, like totally different time. And now watching it, seeing it from like older, my perspective now as someone who's like gone through a wedding and has kids, and I just really appreciated this movie and actually got teared up a few times in the movie. And it really hit me how much David is like John Corbett in this movie, my husband.
Oh.
Because
That's awesome.
my family is really obnoxious. My family is they're really loud. They are in each other's business. They all live like 5 minutes from each other. I'm the weirdo because I moved like 30 minutes away. They're like, Sonia lives so far away. She lives 30 minutes away. You have to drive over a bridge to get to her. Like, I'm a weirdo. But like David's family's pretty quiet. They're a little bit more reserved, and like he goes to these functions and it's just yelling and like ants with busy hands and like all those things. I'm like, poor David. It gave me new appreciation for David and this movie.
Aw.
He is a John Corbett. He's so sweet.
Those are
He
the
is,
best
I've met
types of people.
Sorry, you guys interrupted each other. What'd you say, Adam?
I said those are the best types of people.
The John
John
They are.
Corbett.
They are.
This is usually true. Even like right from the beginning where she says like they're the three things that every Greek woman must do, like marry Greek boys, make Greek babies, and feed everyone. It's just spot on. And my family's not Greek, but it's true. Like that's what my family wants.
I think that's one thing that kind of is why the movie was so well liked and kind of caught on so much when it was first released, was even though this is like a story about a Greek family, you could really just have made this about a Jewish family, an Italian family,
Mhm.
you know, like it's really any type of cultural background that kind of can, you know, has this sort of everybody's in each other's business type of mode.
Mhm.
It's a good representation of sometimes you don't just marry the person, you marry their families. Like you
Mhm.
are going to be family now. In most cases, not always, but in most cases you are. And yeah, like I love how sweet he is to everybody and how sweet he is to her and how he really wants to make her happy and be a part of the family, and he's really trying so hard.
Oh, he gets baptized.
He gets baptized, for Christ's
I
sake.
forgot about that.
I did too. I totally forgot about that. But I really love their relationship. I think that was the thing that it was really clicking for me in this watch, is how there's no like, well, my dad doesn't want us to be together, so we're not going to be together, you know, kind of situations, or some sort of misunderstanding that could be solved if they just like had a conversation. Like Tula and Ian are together and they're together. And like the whole like her dad's like, no, you can't see her, and he's like, I'll see you tomorrow, and like leaves.
Right.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
I like that. It's like a really like grown up relationship, like that they're gonna be together and they just are, and they just need to figure out all this other stuff. I think it's really sweet.
I
It's very
also
funny,
really
too.
love how, yeah, I also really love how he says to her, like when she's worried about, you know, how overbearing her family can be, and she thinks that it could never work because he's not Greek and they'll never accept him and everything. And he's just like, no, I'm in. Like, I'm not going to back down because of this third party obstacle. We're together. And by the way, the stuff that you're worried about is the stuff that I like am gravitating to and need in my life.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's true. I love it. I also love the scene where he says he has two cousins, and she's like, "You only have two cousins." I like laughed out loud. I also have an obscene amount of first cousins. Like,
I have two.
yeah, like I have like 30 something first
Oh,
cousins.
geez.
Holy shit.
Yeah, my on my mother's side, my grandmother had 8 kids, and they all have kids. So
Oh
there's
my
like,
God.
yeah. Also, she was so little. She was like 4'8". She had 8 kids.
What? That's like Vern Troyer size.
She's so little. She had 8 kids and like 2 sets of twins in that. She's
No.
oh my gosh, she's crazy.
No,
Did
ma'am.
she
No,
start
thank you.
out tall and then just get shorter
Yeah.
with more?
The
kids?
baby
I
sucked the
think
life
that's
out
what
of her.
I think that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So there's a million of us cousins. A million of us. There's too many. They're all crazy. And my aunts are like the Andrea Martin character in this movie. They all have like busy hands. Like how they're always touching John Corbett's hair and stuff. They do that to David all the time. Poor
This
David.
movie has just like a murderer's row of supporting performances. It's kind
Yeah,
of
I agree.
unbelievable. Like
Yeah.
Andrea Martin is so it's just like a perfect comic character.
She's so funny. She's
Yeah.
Oh my god. Just when she's trying to like convince Michael Constantine that it's his idea to send Tallulah to the travel agency, and the way she's delivering those, I am, woe is me, I am so stressed. Like,
Yeah. I love how Lady Kazan is like, she suffers.
and just who's playing the brother? I think he's really funny, and Joey Fatone is really funny.
Louis Mandylor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's really good. Was it Gia Carides?
Carides. Oh my god.
As Nikki is right. She's playing Nikki.
She's so hot in this movie. I know it's supposed to be a joke, but like, wow.
But she really is.
She is.
And I love the unveiling of the bridesmaid's dress where she's wearing the coat, and she opens it and it's just like kapow, and it's just like taffeta everywhere and like her boobs are hanging out. She's so funny.
That whole scene is great because it's like that happens like 30 seconds after John Corbett burns his hands on the hot plate, and then Michael Constantine like starts spraying his fingers with Windex.
Have any of you guys tried the Windex thing?
I'm sure I have, but I don't.
Sure.
I don't remember if it like did anything. I'm sure it didn't. Otherwise, I probably would have been like, "This is a miracle." It's a really funny like recurring joke though.
It is. I wonder if there was a spike in like Windex related illnesses after this movie. I'll have to do some Googling.
Yeah.
Do you guys...
I hope the portcullises voted for the right people. It would break my heart.
It would break my heart.
Yeah.
Same. Do you guys want to talk about your love of John Corbett?
Yeah. Margo, you go first.
I've loved him since Northern Exposure. That was one of my favorite shows. It's like late 80s, early 90s. And he played, I think his name was Chris. He was the DJ for this little town. And I just thought he was so freaking hot. And his character was like really smooth and funny, but kind of dorky. And I've just been a fan of his ever since. And then I was lucky enough when I worked at Modern Bride magazine, we had a big event and we hired his band as the entertainment for the event. And we had flown them from California and their gear got lost on the way to the party. So we had to track it down. It was a whole thing. But he's just as gorgeous in person. And he was dating Bo Derek at the time.
Oh my gosh.
She was beautiful. They were both just really, really beautiful. And he was really nice. And he was cool with the band. You could tell they were good friends. And yeah, I've always just liked him.
Is his voice like that in real life? Or is that his movie voice? Like when you saw him in real life, was he like, "Hi, Margo, nice to meet you"? Like, and you're like, no.
He's just like you think he's going to be. He talks like that. He's very much like his Northern Exposure kind of character, I would say. Yeah, he sounds like that. And it was funny because the assistant for the editor-in-chief, she went up to Bo Derek and she said, "Ma'am, what's your name?" And she said, "Oh, hi, Bo Derek." And then she came on and whispered, goes, "Who's Bo Derek?" And I'm like, oh my God.
Jeez.
But Adam, do you know who that is?
Yeah.
Of course, Tommy Boy, right?
Well, that's where I knew 10 before I saw Tommy Boy, but yeah.
Anyway, but that was, and then like a bunch of us went, "What? You don't know who Bo Derek is?" And she just like, "No, I had no idea." Anyway, that's my story.
What about you, Adam?
So I don't remember if it might have been Sex and the City.
Oh yeah.
Because I think that was before. Yeah, I think he was on that show beforehand, and I'd always, like girlfriends or my sister would have like Sex and the City on, so I saw episodes, and then I remember like being like, "Mr. Big, give me a break," and then like all of a sudden this Aiden guy came along, and I'm just like, "What the fuck are we doing here? Like this Aiden guy is the best."
He is the best.
He made her a chair.
Yeah, and then I heard his voice, and ever since then, I was just like, I wish my voice sounded like his voice.
Adam,
And
you
it
have a
just
lovely voice. I love
You
your
have a great
voice.
voice.
it's no John. No, I'm not denigrating my voice. I'm just saying John Corbett's got like the best voice. So after
Okay.
after that happened, um, I I just like I saw My Big Fat Greek Wedding and I thought that he was awesome. And then I've gotten to like this point where like I've followed his career to a degree that like it's kind of stupid and weird. Like I bought his CD and I listened to it, and then I went to theaters to see like one of those faith-based movies, and it was only because he was the star. It was called All Saints, and it was about like refugees, and it was pretty good. And I was like, everybody in the theater was there for like, like a faith experience, and I was there because I'm like, oh, it's the new fucking John Corbett movie.
You're like wearing your John Corbett shirt. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm here for
Yeah.
it.
Did either of you see so Neo Vardalos and Vardolos and John Corbett did a movie after Greek Wedding called I Hate Valentine's Day. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, it was filmed in my neighborhood.
I did
That movie's
not.
rough.
Terrible. It's so bad.
Oh, that's depressing.
Yeah, I remember when they were filming it. It's a terrible movie.
What's it about? Is it just about how much they hate Valentine's Day?
There's a
Oh my
flower
God.
shop.
Yeah. She's like Hitch, but not Hitch. What she's got like these rules where she'll only date a guy for 5
Right. Oh my God.
And then they fall in love, and the whole like, third act complication is that they've had 5 good dates, but her rule is that they can't go out anymore. And he's like, well, why not?
That sounds terrible.
No, and everybody knows this about her, and they're still friends with her. Like nobody thinks, well, that's fucking insane and weird.
Yeah.
And it's God, that plot. Oh, it's so stupid. Yeah, they filmed that flower shop was near my neighborhood, right, a couple blocks away.
All right, I'll skip that one.
No, don't watch it.
John Corbett was so good in Sex and the City that everybody fell in love with him. That's not what was supposed to happen. Like, you're supposed to be all the time like carrying big, and then John fucking Corbett shows up, and everybody is like, "Oh, Aiden!" Like, everyone loves him. Everyone named their kids Aiden. By the way, everyone named their kid. Like, back when playgrounds were a thing, you could just yell the name Aiden and like 7 kids will turn around and go, yeah. Like, there's so many Aidens out there.
So their moms were dreaming about him when they were stuffing their husbands?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Everyone loved him. They loved him so much that they had to bring him back for the movie and like find a way to like put him in there just so people could see him. Everyone loved him so much.
I remember that he had a home up in Westchester, like north of Westchester. It was like a summer home. And I remember she was such a pill, Carrie, the character. Yeah, she was such an asshole about it. Like he had her go up there and she just acted so mopey and obnoxious about the whole thing. I'm like, you don't deserve Aiden.
No.
He's way too good for you.
No, she did not deserve Aiden. You know what? I used to love that show. I loved it. I watched it every week. It was like my sister's favorite. She watched it for years afterwards. I'm actually afraid to revisit it because I think maybe I've outgrown it.
It doesn't hold up.
Yeah.
It doesn't hold up completely well.
Yeah, it feels like it would be very much kind of its time.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah.
But I wonder, is it the show or is it me? Because I think it might be me. Like, maybe I've just outgrown it and it's a show for girls that are like in their 20s and 30s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Anyway, this is not a podcast about Sex in the City.
Do you think I maybe like John Corbett because he sort of has like a J.V. Costner thing going?
Oh, yeah.
That's a really good... Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah. I feel like they're kind of in the same, like, similar, like, masculinity Venn diagram.
I could totally see... Yeah. That's
a
good call.
Yeah.
Who else would be in that, do you think? It's like,
Oh, so you've asked the right person.
yeah, I know.
Because I have all right, so like the Expendables is like the Expendables where it's 80s action stars, 90s action stars. I have like my own version of the Expendables for Costner type actors. And also I have my own Expendables for like early 90s actresses who should have been bigger but never were.
I want to talk about both of these right now. Because
Okay,
I have a theory. I have someone in my mind too that I think would be on your Costner Expendables. So, but I want to hear your list. Tell me.
Okay, so just a few because I don't want to hog all the names, but like, all right, so you got Costner, he would be the Stallone. Then you've got Dennis Quaid. He would be like the Statham.
That's who I would have said.
Yeah, Don Johnson's in there.
Yeah.
Tom Berenger is definitely in there.
Yep.
It's just basically like anybody from that time period who you think would be friends with your dad.
Yes. Okay.
That's good.
Harrison Ford, I think, is too big of a name, but I think that he might be like the Schwarzenegger cameo.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Just keep him away from airplanes.
Oh my God. Every time I drive past the local airport by me, I just imagine like that Harrison Ford is like coming in for a landing.
Stoned out of his mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. That dude is like
Dennis Quaid was the first. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say Harrison Ford is like if Launchpad from DuckTales were a man.
We need to do a podcast about a Harrison Ford movie. Stat.
Yeah.
That would be super
I'm
fun.
in.
Yeah.
Dennis Quaid was the first one that popped into my mind.
Yeah.
For this list.
He played a summer concert in my hometown during 4th of July, like a couple years ago. It was Dennis Quaid and the Sharks.
Nice. Do you think Kevin Bacon would fit in this list?
Yeah, he would fit in too. His band played across the street from my apartment. It's so weird.
See, maybe it's because they all have bands too. Costner has a band.
They do all have bands. Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
And they're all like pseudo country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary Sinise, he has a band.
Yeah,
Kevin
Gary
Bacon
Sinise would
has
be
a
in the
band.
Expendables. Yeah.
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 That's what
they
it
would
is.
be called like the Dependables.
The Dependables. Ding. I would. My dad would absolutely buy that movie on DVD. By the way.
Yeah.
He would put it right next to his like Last Vegas and Bucket List and Dependables. I'm into it. And then, I want to hear who's on the '90s actress list too.
80s or 90s?
So this would be more 90s, and they're a little bit more deep cuts. So I don't. So do you remember Megan Ward?
Yep.
Yeah, of course.
So Megan Ward, she would be like, she's like the head of this one because it's the one that inspired the list. But then after that, Michelle Burke, who was in Dazed and Confused, and Major League Two.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Judgment Night wife, who was in ER and Judgment Night and Dazed and Confused. I forgot what her name was. I think it's Michelle Hanos. And then there was, oh God, there's a few others. Who else? Is there anybody that you would nominate?
What about like Amy Smart?
Oh my God, now you're speaking my language.
Yeah, Amy Smart. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. No, I'm blanking on it.
Rachel Lee Cook, maybe?
Yeah, she would be in there too.
There's quite a few that you wonder where they went. You know?
Yeah.
Margo and I've talked about this on What a Creep sometimes with the actresses who were like Merrimack staples who then you never hear from again, and now you wonder, like, oh, I hope they're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. My sister and I will never refer to Gretchen Mol as Gretchen Mol. We'll always call her It Girl Gretchen Mol.
I remember when they were trying to make Gretchen Mol a thing.
Oh, the poor thing.
Yeah. I also
Yeah.
they also worked really hard to make Jessica Biel a thing, and I felt
Yeah.
like that didn't really click either.
Do you remember she posed for Maxim when she was
Oh
like
my God,
17 or
such a big
something?
deal, 'cause
Weird, like, and her dad was on set for that.
So weird.
Oy.
Because she was
Yeah.
on Seventh Heaven.
It was. I don't think it was Maxim. I think it was like the Bob Guccione Jr. one that was competing with Maxim, and he was a total fucking sleaze. I remember
Yeah.
that.
Oh, it was so gross.
Ugh.
Anyway,
Yeah.
welcome to our podcast about
Random shit.
where
right,
we
basically.
make new expendable casts.
I like it. So I got a question. This is a
Yes.
very, very tiny moment in my Big Fat Greek Wedding, but I always thought it was fucking weird, and I'm surprised they never did a second take of it. So, you know, when she goes back to college and then she sits with, like, she decides to sit with the table of all the other women
Mhm.
that she
Yeah.
normally would be intimidated by.
Yes.
So she sits down and then she takes, like, a demented bite of her sandwich.
And all the girls instantly regret letting her sit there.
Yeah, she looks like an insane person when she bites her sandwich.
Well, that's still like the nerdy part of her character, and I think she was just kind of overdoing it because it was like a one-woman show for a long
Yeah.
time. So I think she kind of was overdoing the the ugly duckling thing, the
Yeah.
transformation. Maybe that was it.
You know,
Yeah.
I kept reading like this was a one-woman show and that Rita Wilson saw it and super loved it,
Mhm.
and then she got Tom Hanks to see it, and then then they produced it with their production company. And all the stories are like Tom Hanks discovered her, and I was like, well, no, Rita Wilson did.
Reed is also Greek. I mean,
Yeah.
it really spoke to her. Yeah.
I'm like, what? I guess he's the big star, but
Rita Wilson also sings, by the way.
yes, she does.
Yeah, she rapped to what was the song that she just rapped to?
Oh, I can't
It was on
remember
like
now.
Instagram or so. Oh, it was a Naughty by Nature song. It was OPP.
Yeah, you know me.
Yeah.
She's awesome. I'm down.
Yeah, she
I like her.
she has a cameo in the sequel, and she's the center of like one of the episodes of the My Big Fat Greek Life TV series that lasted 7 episodes in 2003.
You are such a super fan.
I am.
We're gonna
Did you
have to
see the
talk.
sequel to the movie?
Yeah, it's
What-
not as good, but it's like the Danny DeVito to Arnold Schwarzenegger and twins. It's like just it's like you'll take what you can get.
Yeah. Okay.
So it has its good things.
Yeah.
I saw it. I honestly, I don't remember anything about it.
Well, the wedding is dumb because it's like Michael Constantine realizes that his marriage license to Lainie Kazan is like inauthentic, and they have to get remarried, and it's like, why would that be the wedding? Couldn't you have come up with a better wedding?
Right.
Yeah.
Just there's a million cousins. Couldn't one of them get married?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, but I don't know. But Michael Constantine, that's my guy. That's like one of my favorite characters in any movie. I love that dude.
He's
Aw.
he's so good in this. It
He's so funny.
some of this movie reminded me of Moonstruck. Like
Very
Oh
much.
yeah.
yeah, I
Very
wrote
much.
here it's Moonstruck adjacent.
It's a Greek moonstruck.
Yes.
Mhm.
He reminded me a lot of the Vincent Gardenia character, except he's not a cheater.
Yeah.
But Lainie
Did
Kazan
you-
definitely reminds me of Olympia Dukakis in that she is really running the house. Like the dad thinks he's running the house, but she's the neck.
Mhm. Did you see Little Italy? That's like the casino to Goodfellas is My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
I have not.
No,
You
nor
should.
have I.
It's if you like this movie, you might like Little Italy. It's ridiculous, but it's Hayden Christensen and Emma Roberts, and it's in Little Italy, just in Toronto, just like how this movie was shot in like Greek town in Toronto, although it's supposed to be Chicago. And Andrea Martin has a character in it where she's very big and over the top. It's like pretty much like a carbon copy, just moved to Italian. milieu.
I will watch this. It
Yeah,
sounds like
it's
something I
fun.
would like.
And it's rated R for no reason. I don't even think there's any cursing in it.
What? That's weird.
Wow.
I was kind of blown away when I saw this movie was rated PG.
Mhm.
I'm like, it's so innocent, so sweet. It's
Yeah.
PG. All right, Little Italy, you're going on the list.
Let me know what you think. I'm kind of nervous because I'm the only person on Earth who likes it, but it made my top 10. It made my top 10 list the year that I came out.
This was such a fun rewatch. I had such a good time rewatching it, and I laughed out loud so many times. One of the scenes that made me laugh was they have the like Easter party, and the brother is saying like, "I'm gonna kill you," and he's like, "I'm just kidding," but then he'll like shake his head and then he nods like, "I'm gonna kill you," and then like they call out to Joey Fatone, who I don't know, is he playing someone named Nicky? There's so many Nicks and Nickies. Or is he?
Nick is Luis Mandylor. Fatone is Angelo.
Oh yeah, so they call out to him, and he's just like, "We're gonna kill ya!" like, while he's dancing. Maybe.
Yeah, I like how they keep feeding John Corbett all the lines in Greek just to embarrass him. Like, I have 3 testicles, nice rack, stuff like that.
There's just all of that made me laugh out loud, and then there were things that just made me tear up, like when John Corbett's character said, "I'll do anything to get them to accept me." I thought it was so sweet, and it felt so real and genuine, and it is what you would do for people that you really love. And I loved after he gets baptized, he goes, "I'm Greek now." It's just really, the movie's so sweet.
It's very charming.
Yeah. This movie also reminds me a lot of a few years before I saw the movie, there was in Piper's Alley in Chicago, there was a long-running dinner theater show called Tony and Tina's Wedding. Did you guys have that out by you?
Oh, yeah.
I have not seen this.
I loved Tony and Tina's Wedding. And at the time when I was doing comedy, that was my dream job, was to be in Tony and Tina's Wedding. And it's where like you go to a reception, and that's in like a theater, and it's made to look like you're in church. And then it's just like a banquet room, and you get a catered meal. But then at your table, there's an actor who plays somebody in the family who sits with you. And I remember we had like the shady brother at our table, and it was great. So like, and then the characters would interact with you, and then they would interact with the other actors. So like, we had like the Italian grandmother come to our table, and she would like swear at us in Italian, and then like the brother would lean into me, and he'd just be like, "She can't hear shit." And then he would be like, then there'd be like the procession of all the men who like go to kiss Tina and like congratulate her and stuff. And then and then he's like, "You're not going to go say congratulations to my sister? Oh, get up there." And then like I went up there, and then I stood in line, and I gave her a kiss on the cheek. And like right as I did that, the brother just yells out from the table. He's like, "I'm going to kick your fucking ass."
It's like kind of entertainment.
It was great. That's why, and my Big Fat Greek Wedding reminds me a lot of like Tony and Tina's Wedding.
I also wanted to give a shout out to John Corbett's parents in this movie. I actually really like those characters. I like that they're not mean. They're
just a little stiff.
They're a little stiff.
Yeah.
And they go with it.
Yeah, and I like just kind of the stuff at the end, like with the dad's like, "It's all Greek to me," and I was like, "Good one, Ian's dad." Like,
it's a good dad joke.
Total dad joke. And then how he calls his wife Harry, during the reception. He's like, "Come on, Harry, let's dance," or just stuff like that. I thought it was really just a nice touch to show that Ian comes from good people. They're just a little stiff.
And in the sequel, they like totally are just in the bag for Greek culture and the Portocalis family. It's kind of a nice little addition to the sequel.
I love the bunt cake. Bunt. And they put a plant in it. Like, how has she never seen a bunt cake? She's like an alien. What? Boont, bunt, boot.
I was working at Corner Bakery at the time when the movie came out, and I remembered the bunt cake thing. I'm like, that plays. Felt like a joke just for me. I remember when I was working at Corner Bakery, like people would pronounce things weird. So like there's the bunt cakes, and then there was Rugelach, and this guy would come in and he would get Rugelach every week, and he's just like, let me get a few of those Rugelugs.
I love it when people mispronounce things. I do it all the time. Maybe that's why. When I worked at the movie theater, somebody came up to the candy counter and they wanted Jolly Frigates. And I was like,
oh God.
And I was like, what? And I was like, I don't know what you're saying. And they're like, Jolly Frigates. It's right here and they're pointing. And I was like, the Juji fruits? That's what they wanted. I was like, okay, here's your Jolly Frigates.
I've been living in Brooklyn for so long, you kind of become a little Italian and Jewish just living here. And I'm going out to dinner a few years ago with friends, and this one woman just out loud just says, you know what I really love, I've just tried lately? Challah bread. And a bunch of us all at the same time went, challah! Like almost blew her back off her chair. And she was so embarrassed, like, oh, I'm sorry.
I can't even be embarrassed anymore because I just mispronounce things on a daily basis, as Margo knows. Pretty much every time we record, actually, I mispronounce something. I need Margo with me all the time to correct me.
My friend had a great T-shirt that said "Holla back, girl."
God, that sounds like a T-shirt you would buy on Facebook for my aunt.
Would she wear it? Your aunt?
Probably, yeah. She's got the funniest movie reviews. She always like when movies were out actually in theaters, she would they were just so bizarre. Like she would say something like give me a movie. I'm drawing a blank for a second.
Star Wars. I don't know. I lost thought.
Okay, all right. So she'd be like, Star Wars, pretty fakey, not fun. Hubby didn't like it. Thumbs down.
That's funny. My mom likes every movie she sees. My mom goes, before all of this, before Corona, my mom went to the movies like once a week, and that's what we used to do when I was younger. Her and I used to go to the movies once a week, but she still goes once a week. She likes everything. Like everything she sees, she's like, I like it. It's good. Like everything. It doesn't matter. She's like, yeah, it's good. I'd see it. You should see it, Sonia. You'd like it. I was like, you know I won't like it. Why are you saying I would like it? Yeah. She's the easiest audience ever.
I wanted to ask you both about the travel agency scenes because I think she's really not doing a good job working at the travel agency.
Is that not the most dated thing about the movie? It's just like the computer. I got a computer class to go to. Remember, I was good in computers.
Yeah, it's just like, it's that simple. It's like the blanket computer class that will teach you everything.
Yes.
They did that. I think Nia Vardalos and Tom Hanks just have no concept of like computers really, because they both wrote Larry Crowne together.
Oh, I want to talk about Larry Crowne.
And it's very similar where like he goes to college and then Holmes Osborne just tells him which classes to take. And he's like, you take creative writing and you take economics and you take like one other thing and you're good. Like now you can be an adult.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
That movie is insane.
I've never seen it.
Oh, God, it's terrible.
Demented.
It's so crazy.
Is it so crazy I should see it?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah. We could talk about it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I went to the Larry Crowne Diner when I was in LA. I made a point of going there. And everybody was just like sitting there like it was a diner. I'm like, this is the fucking Larry Crowne Diner.
Show some respect.
I'm writing it down. Larry Crowne. By the way, that's one of those movies that my mom saw, and she was like, "I liked it. You would like it." And I was like, "No, I won't." Stop saying that.
It's a weird movie because Tom Hanks plays a guy who's like a shift manager at Target, basically, and he's just not believable as that. So it's very weird.
It's weird also because he's laid off from his retail job, and it's like one of those things, especially at that time, like you just get another retail job, like you just shift over. But he's like, no, I need to go back to junior college and learn some things, and then I'm going to go back out in the workforce. I'm only 52. What could be wrong with that? It's a very bizarre movie. And Julia Roberts is a speech instructor, and she's very angry at her husband, and there's flirtation between them.
Yeah, and her husband,
I'm telling you, it's batshit.
Yeah, her husband's played by Bryan Cranston, and she's like supposed to be catching him watching porn all the time, but it's like just women in swimsuits.
Yes, that's right.
It seems so innocent.
Yeah. And then like she's just like she's like, yeah, I come home and you're looking at porn all day, and then he's just like, I'm a man with needs, and in the meantime it's like more tame than Maxim. It's like what's on the screen.
I'm a man with needs, and those needs are I want to buy a bathing suit.
I need Lycra. That's what I need.
Maybe he wants to wear a bikini. She shouldn't kink shame.
That would have made the movie more interesting. That's where they fell apart. If you have Bryan Cranston, go for it.
He's making meth.
Yeah.
He wasn't really watching porn. He's making meth.
I want to go to Dancing Zorba's for lunch.
It doesn't really exist?
No.
No.
That should be like a restaurant. That should be like a restaurant on the Universal City Walk or something.
Yeah.
I think it should be right next to Bubba Gump's.
Oh, now you're speaking my language.
There's a Bubba Gump's here at Fisherman's Wharf or at Pier 39. There should be a Dancing Zorba's there too. I would go there. I want to take
Amy Smart out to dinner to Bubba Gump's.
We all do.
Yeah. Well, you both can come too. Okay. I'm not.
Okay, good.
Awesome.
By the way, my son loves Bubba Gump's. Just because it's filled with ceiling fans. That's the only reason why he loves it there. He doesn't care about the food at all. He's never seen Forrest Gump. He doesn't know. But by the way, there is always a line for the Bubba Gump's here. It's so funny. I'm like, you're in San Francisco. There's 1 million restaurants, 1 million. And there's always like a 1 hour wait to go to Bubba Gump's.
Oh, so wait, Adam, I wanted to ask you something.
Yeah.
So is any of this movie actually filmed in Chicago, and does it feel like Chicago to you?
Okay, so that's a good question. But to answer the first part of it, just the exterior shots are in Chicago. So like if they'll show like a skyline or something like that, like as an establishing shot, then most of those are Chicago. And it does feel Chicago-ish. Like there's because you do get kind of the same vibe that you do when you're watching like Return to Me or Only the Lonely or something like that, where it's like
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's very much like Chicago as a neighborhood instead of just Chicago as downtown or Chicago as Wrigley Field and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it does feel like a Chicago movie to me.
Okay.
All right. It's time to talk about my big fat Greek life. Tell us everything.
Oh. Okay, so it was 7 episodes. It aired from like February of 2003 to like April of 2003. Its last episode was Greek Easter. And that episode had Nia Vardola. Okay, well, by the way, John Corbett is not on the TV series. He's recast. And they changed the characters' names from Tula and Ian to Nia and Thomas.
Why?
And I don't know.
That's weird.
But then, like, the guy playing Thomas he's affable enough, but he's no John Corbett.
Right.
So that's part of the reason why it kind of gets dragged down a little bit. But yeah, there's like some of the stuff that happens in the show. It's like there's a fight over like who gets left the restaurant when the parents no longer want to run it. There's Rita Wilson is like their Greek cousin who comes to visit, and like the parents are trying to like Lainie Kazan and Michael Constantine are trying to set her up with Frank Stallone.
Is Frank Stallone just playing Frank Stallone?
He's playing a Greek guy.
Okay.
He's just like, yeah, he's just playing a Greek guy. There's an episode where like this cop is allowing like them to use a loading dock illegally because they're giving him free lunch, and then Nia Vardola is like, I'm cutting him off because he's taking advantage, and then like there's all this problem where like they get like ticketed for zoning permits and stuff. It's not a great episode.
The whole
Did it have a live
episode.
studio audience?
No live. Or actually, it might have. I don't remember. It had to have, yeah, because this was like pre The Office. And then there was an episode where like Nick moves out of the parents' house and gets like his own apartment and stuff like that. So that one was probably the best one because it just sort of shows like he wants to strike out on his own, and then like he's trying to like pretend like he loves living on his own, but then it just shows him like eating popcorn and watching a movie and then turning and like there's nobody to laugh with and stuff. So I don't know. So yeah, it kind of got better as the show was going on, and then it got canceled. So it's not really worth watching, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, it never found its footing.
Yeah, apparently like it debuted with really high ratings, but then it just kind of like losing half of its audience every episode, and they pulled the plug.
Well, that's when they learned John Corbett wasn't going to be in it. They watched the first one, right? And they were like, "Oh, he's not in it." So I read that he was going to show up. He was going to play like the husband's best friend or something. Like he was doing another show, and that's why he couldn't. He was doing Lucky. I think that was on FX or HBO. I forget. But he wanted to be a part of it, and that he was going to play the husband's best friend, which I think that's very sweet. He wanted to be a part of it.
I feel like if he was on the show, it would still be running.
Probably, because he's awesome.
Yeah.
I also read that they offered him the part in the movie when they found him in a bar. Did you guys read that? He was at some bar in Toronto because they were filming the movie. He was filming the movie Serendipity. And he was at some bar telling his agent like how much he wanted to read for the My Big Fat Greek Wedding script that he got, and they just happened to overhear it, and they offered him the part on the spot.
Wow,
that's amazing.
That's
I know.
Talk about lucky.
I know.
Yeah.
Nice transition, Margo.
Thank you.
Also,
Thank you.
We should put
Pass, shoot, and score.
We should put Serendipity on the list.
I need to see that. I haven't
seen that in a long time.
I remember seeing it and having a lot of thoughts and feelings about that movie. I'm curious.
It's John Cusack and
Kate Beckinsale.
Kate Beckinsale, yeah.
I just remember
they
met and they really liked each other, and then she like throws it up to chance whether or not they're going to see each other again, and I remember that really pissing me off at the time. I'm like, you met a good man, go. Just like you're throwing it like caution to the wind, like maybe we'll meet, maybe we won't, and then they don't meet again for like another 10 years or so. I was like, fuck this movie. I was so mad. I was also lonely. Anyway,
I didn't see it, but I remember like the other person in both couples was John Corbett and Bridget Moynihan, and I was like, I'd rather see them in this movie than Cusack and Beckinsale.
Excellent point.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
So we have.
There you go.
Do you think Tula and Aaron and Ian are still together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too. They're in love.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's got a kink for Greek culture. He's not going to leave. And she's married to John Corbett. She's not going to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? There's another. Speaking of just how awesome John Corbett is, I love that when he comes into the restaurant for the first time and how she's instantly like so smitten with him, which anybody would be. You know, male, female, straight, gay, whatever. Everybody would be in love with John Corbett. But I really enjoyed the scene later where he finally realizes she's the girl in the restaurant. And
Mhm.
and
He said, "I remember you."
yeah, and he's like, I remember you. And she was like, I was really frumpy and blah, blah, I've gone through a lot of changes. And he's like, oh, I don't remember frump. He's all, but I remember you. And I was
Aw.
like,
I know, it's very sweet.
like, God damn it, John Corbett. So sweet. So I read that this movie was nominated for original screenplay
Mhm.
and it didn't win. Did you guys want to hear what else was nominated?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Okay, so one of the other movies was You Mama Tambien.
E tu mama,
See,
bien.
thank you. That's why I have you, Margo. Gangs of New York, Far From
Okay.
Heaven, and Talk to Her was the winner.
Oh, is that the one? I know what you're talking about. Sarah Polly?
Pedro Almodovar, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, that's no. Okay, I'm thinking of Listen to Her. Maybe it's what am I talking about? Sarah Polly. Anyway,
Yeah.
go on.
No, that's all of them.
Oh, okay. Did you want to hear the top songs of 2002?
Please.
I also have
Okay.
I also have the top movies too. So we'll do music first.
Okay. All right. So I just picked some of these. These are like my favorite from that time. We have Eminem, Lose Yourself.
Song's rad.
Perfect.
Avril Lavigne, Complicated. Song is
Oh
rad.
My God. Oh my God.
That's such an earworm. You can't.
Love that song.
Now I'm going to be singing it all day.
Did I ever tell you two that Avril Lavigne is like my #1 crush of all time?
No.
No, I had no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, Avril Lavigne is my tulip.
How do I not
She's
know
single.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Yeah, Avril Lavigne is just like, I don't know what it was, but like I just got it immediately, and then like it became kind of like my secret shame, and now it's just a running joke that she's like my #1 crush.
That's awesome.
this? I love it.
Yeah, so the next one is Nelly, Hot in Here.
That is
Nice.
a really good song.
Take off all your clothes.
Yeah.
Missy Elliott, Work It.
I love her so much.
Mhm.
She's so great. Foo Fighters, All My Life. I love the Foos.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
finishing it with Nora Jones, Don't Know Why. Remember that?
I really
Where's
like
my lighter?
I like that Nora Jones album, but I'm genetically predisposed to liking Nora Jones albums, I think. They're just made for like older straight white ladies. I love them.
Yeah.
What was the song before the Nora Jones song?
Foo Fighters, All My Life.
No, what was the one before that?
Work It.
Work
Missy
It.
Elliott.
Oh, that's what it was. My friend Corso recently got a cat and she named it Missy Elliott.
Oh,
That's what I was-
That's so cool.
I know. I'm like, she's so cool. She's so cute. Little Missy Elliott. Do you want to hear the top movies of 2002?
Sure.
Okay.
I do. Oh, I forgot real quick though. I forgot a music trivia related to 2002 that has to do with My Big Fat Greek
I want to
Wedding.
hear it.
Apparently, Nelly Furtado was offered the role of the older sister in My Big Fat Greek Wedding, but she was too afraid to act, so she didn't do the movie.
Oh, that's
Aw,
she should have done it. But
Yeah.
the actress they got was great.
Yeah.
true. So number 10 was Minority Report.
It's a good
Mhm.
movie.
Yeah, that one holds up. Big Fat Greek Wedding was number 9. Made a ton of money. It's
Mhm.
like $368 million. Number 8 is Ice Age.
I've
Never
never
seen it.
seen it.
I saw the first 2, I think. I know that they have like Ice Age shorts now in front of movies all the time, and my son hates them.
Does he just not think it's funny?
I don't think he thinks it's funny, and he doesn't like they're very frantic and loud, and he's just like, what's happening? Like he doesn't understand what's happening, and I'm like, I'm with you, because they're all about like the little scrat creature,
Yeah.
and it's very obnoxious. He doesn't like them. Every time they show up, he's like, no, and if it shows up on a movie, he just tries to fast forward. Number 7 was Signs.
It's a good
Oh,
one.
is that the who am I thinking of? Mel Gibson.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that one.
I like that one too. Number 6, Die Another Day.
Oh,
Not
I,
good.
Yikes.
Not a good movie.
I gave
Terrible
away- I
song
gave-
too.
I gave away my feelings even just saying the name. I was like, oh.
That Madonna song too is
yes.
so bad.
It's awful.
It's not good. You know what? She did a better song for the Get Smart movie. Do you remember that?
No.
It was like, you only have 4 minutes to save the world. It was
Oh yeah.
And it's very like James Bond. I'm like, I like that song. I think it's rad, but Die Another Day, not good.
It's like her mea culpa for Die Another Day.
Number 5 is Men in Black 2.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Number 4 was Attack of the Clones. I'm kind of surprised I was kind of surprised it's only number 4.
Yeah.
But
I don't hate it. It's not good though.
It's my least. I find the Attack of the Clones to be fascinating in that younger people love Attack of the Clones. They love it. Like all my nieces, it's like their favorite. They love Attack of the Clones, and I'm like, I think it's the worst one. They love it.
I kind of like how random stuff is in that movie. Like there's this one, I remember the last time I was rewatching the prequel trilogy, there's this scene where like Natalie Portman is on this conveyor belt and it looks like she's inside like a guac bowl and there's like these giant things of like molten lead being poured and I'm just like, she can't get smothered with nacho. What am I watching?
A movie's a big old mess. It's such a mess, but God, the younger folks, the kids, they love the Attack of the Clones. Number 3, Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man's great. Number 2, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
It's really good.
Yeah, and then number 1 is Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers.
Really
Excellent movie.
Which is my favorite of all the movies. Of all the Lord
I think
of the
that's
Rings
my
movies.
favorite of the Lord of the Rings too.
Yeah, we recently rewatched them all. Just the original ones, not the Hobbit movies. And we did these director's cuts or whatever. So they're like, each movie's like 4 hours long. So it took us like 2 nights to finish them. So it was like a whole week of Lord of the Rings. It was the best. I would do it again right now. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have anything else we want to say about my big fat Greek wedding?
Thank you, Adam, for joining us because it's great getting your perspective on it.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for inviting me. I love this movie. I love both of you.
Oh, I'm so happy that you wanted to do this one. This is so fun.
Yeah, this is a lot better than Moulin Rouge.
Thank you, Adam. You rescued me from that one.
Yeah, we will. We might do that one again. We might do that one someday. Just now is not the time for Moulin Rouge, I think.
Yeah.
Where can people find you on the internet, Adam?
So I write and do podcasts at fthismovie.com. That's the letter F, thismovie.com. And then I'm on Twitter at Riske Adam.
Awesome. And I love reading Adam's stuff. Everybody should go read it. He's one of my favorites on the internet. Margo, where can people find you?
You can find me on social media at Brooklyn Fitchick, and my blog is brooklynfitchick.com.
And if you love the sound of our voices, we also host What a Creep. And we have like a Facebook group and we have a Patreon page. We're having a lot of fun over there. It doesn't sound like it's going to be fun, but then you listen and you realize it is fun. We talk about creeps and we end every episode with someone who's not a creep. Please join us. And you could find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram and sometimes Facebook. And you could find Dorking Out at dorkingout.com and Dorking Out Show on Twitter, sometimes Facebook, and Instagram. And this was super fun. I'm so glad we talked about my big fat Greek wedding finally.
It was a blast. Thank you.
Opa!